only do I have my good friend Amanda Lyberg from Eva Under Fire, I have you during Women's History Month, which
Yeah.
for me is so great. When I heard that you were doing interviews, I said, get her and let's get her now because the month is almost over. And it's so incredible to have you on at the beginning of what I think is going to be such an amazing year, such an amazing run for you. This is going to be your year. Prediction alert, prediction alert.
Let's go. Thank you so much for having me here, friend. I truly appreciate like all of the positivity is the things that we've been needing, right? Like we are coming off of a really long writing cycle. And so to have like this year have gotten this busy this quickly, I feel that. I feel something is happening this year. I'm really excited. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, 2026, big year for you. I've been speaking with you. I was thought about it. It's probably like going back 11 years and wild. And you've got a new record coming in July on July 10th called Villainous. And kind of where do we start here? I get the impression that it's going to be heavier and darker from what I've heard. And I also love the journey on this record because there's a lot of different people that were part of the making of this record for you. So I feel like there's going to be a little bit of unpredictability. So talk to me about putting this record together and having it be a mission that's a little bit different than your experience in the past.
Yeah, love that. And thank you for opening it up with just like this is a different vision, you know? And you mentioned Women's History Month. So basically the whole thing with the world building we're doing behind Villainous as an album, Villainous as a single, is a lot of self-discovery. It's a story about self-discovery. It's a story about self-empowerment. It's getting out all of the different emotions um, about, when you go through hard times, you change things that you process them differently now because of what you've been through, right? You experience new information, right? So it kind of takes you through this journey of like all of these different songs in my brain. They're like locations of self-discovery. And so each song is kind of like its own conversation about what that particular moment was like. There's a lot of hurt, there's a lot of heartbreak, there's a lot of ferocity, and so that's kind of where Villainous comes in. So what a cool thing to be talking about with Women's History Month, because I think that a lot of women could use this kind of like self empowerment message, and us as humans, us as a people, right? Like we're not built to be in a box. It's not what the human experience is so massively different than what everybody thinks that, well, it's this way or it's that way. No, right? Depending on the circumstance, could be a million different ways that you respond to that. But as soon as something happens and someone, changes up and they say, hey, look, I got to have healthy boundaries around this. I've got to do different because I'm looking out for me. The person on the other side wants to very quickly tell you, well, you're the problem. You're no longer serving what I need, right? So villainous is basically just saying, you can call me a villain all you want to. It doesn't mean I am one. But if that's what you want me to be, that's who I am then.
Well, I
Fine.
love, I love, broke through the glass ceiling. You won't stop me now. Turned me into a villain. And
Yeah.
look, I mean, I think for women that have been fighting the good fight, I talk to a lot of women and I understand this in a two-way stretch. I'll talk to women and they say, well, I don't want to be viewed as a female artist. I want to be viewed as an artist. And I understand that. But then I also understand that women that are breaking that ceiling through, it's taken a long time. I've been in rock radio a long time. I was there the days where when there was one woman on the playlist or two women on the playlist, there wasn't room for anybody else. And I never remember the men hearing, well, we have a blonde guy on the playlist, so we're not we don't need another blonde guy. It was never like that for the
I
guy.
love that you know exactly what that line was referring to. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I've often said too, I think sometimes when women are strong and powerful, I was programming in rock radio for many, many, many years, with the guys, and it was always great, no complaints. But sometimes when you have to sort of be tough and rough, it's, oh, she's crazy or she's mean. I think crazy had become the new bitch. And that always bothered me a little bit because crazy's more dangerous, I think, than bitch. So when you're called crazy, you sort of turn into that villainous.
And I love, of course, the feature on the Villainous song because I think women get this song differently. Like this is a song for everyone. Don't get me wrong, this is a whole self-empowerment thing, but I think very specifically women's voices when they hear a song like Villainous with a feature like Maria Brink,
Well,
it
you've
just
got you've
makes
got the you've
so
got
much
the goat.
sense.
Yeah. She's another favorite of mine. And I see Maria, and this is why I've really bonded with the two of you so much. You guys are very much the go-getters. And I said this to you. I said I'm going to bring this up in the Zoom, and I truly mean this. You're a Detroit girl. You've always been scrappy. You've rolled up your sleeves. You've got your fists up. You're like, okay, maybe if this didn't work, we're going to go over here now. You're just a worker bee. I'm Jersey, not that far from New York City. We kind of have that same sensibility of being the worker bee, of being like, oh, what? It's a blizzard outside. Let's get in the Jeep and drive down the road. Like we just sort of come from that kind of background. And I've always really admired that about you. And I think that you and Maria on this, because she's a goat that's been traveling many, many years and many paths and many different management and different record labels. And, people always trying to put her in all these different boxes. And she's kind of kept herself in like, no, this is my lane and this is what I'm doing. It's not always easy to say that.
No, it's not. The grind is real, and when you're a woman in any kind of business, right? Like now, that there's, career women are out there and they want their vision to be heard. And I think Maria is very much about, the vision and the artistry behind her vision is amazing, and I got to compliment her on that the last time that we had done a show together was at Soaring Eagle Casino. But she, I was like, I just, your voice is so unique, but it's also like this vision, this world that you build around yourself. And so I loved that we got a chance to be on a track together, but specifically that it was this one,
Yeah.
massive to me, So thank you for saying that. That means a lot to me.
And you're a great collabor. I mean, you've collabed with some of the greatest, Spencer from Ice Nine Kills. One of my favorite guys too, who's severely underrated, and that's Corey Marks. And I
Yeah,
loved your collaboration with Corey. I think it was a little bit of a different element for you and a different
it's a
element
different
for
player.
him. And
Yeah.
right, and the two of you guys together, I thought was just magic. Funeral portrait. So yeah, you're a really good collabor, and I think that you bring something different out in everybody that you collaborate with.
I love the energy of, like there is something about artistry that's so unique and I think in some ways can be so isolating. But when you get in a room with other people who understand why you do what you do because they also do that, right? And they love that for the same reasons, or they've run into maybe even commiserate, same problems, right? Like, they get it. They get it. When you're in a room with other people who get it, and who are also massively talented, like why not? Right? Like I get to be invited to go do all of those things with other people that I think are, really great at their craft and such, talented vocally, I think too is important to me. I love, hanging out with other artists and musicians, but vocalists as like another like layer of our own personality, our own tone, our own like range, different
Yeah.
things. So like to be able to sing with so many people for me is such an honor because it challenges me also to like, get this unique collaboration is like its own thing. And so how does this, Lee is fantastic and something he said to me really stood out. I was shocked by how much of my parts they used
Yeah.
on this voodoo doll collaboration.
Yeah. And
And
funeral
I said,
portrait. Yeah.
you don't have to be obligated to do all that. He said, no, I asked for your voice on the track. And he said, the song exists already with just me. He said, I want it to be different, so different that it's almost like a new thing. So people will gravitate to both because it's got its own unique dynamic. And I loved that. I was like, yes, that is how it should, how I think
Absolutely.
feature should be embraced and collaboration should be embraced.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the record. I want to talk about the first track I heard, obviously, is the song that leads the record, and that's Awakening. And I think it's a perfect lead track. So Are my predictions in my head correct? Is this a heavier, darker, Eva Under Fire experience, if you will?
1,000%. We took off the kitty gloves. We were like, look, album one was great, did what it needed to do, but I think we were just listening a little too much to what it was supposed to be.
And is that because sometimes the voices outside get in your head?
I think so. I think when it's your first album and you've not been able to hang out with in the big leagues yet, people are telling you this is how the big leagues work, and you're like, okay, we could do that, which and I think we did, and we did it well. And I think there were moments on album one that were very meaningful and very powerful. But we wanted all of album two to be like, this is who we are now. We've seen what the big leagues are. We know what it's like out here. We understand who we are in this space now. So we don't need you to tell us how we're going to do the thing. So, and you had mentioned like working with so many different camps, right? Is there going to be some level of, continuity risk? And I'm like, no, because, you know, we made sure that it was something where we get in the room and we know our sound and we know our stuff and we know what we want. And so we felt very much like we were in the director's chair with whomever it was that we were working with. And that was important to us because, we want to have the best balance of, you know, outside influence can kind of help hear things we don't hear. We wanted to make space for that, but we didn't want it to challenge us in a way that took the power from where it needed to be, which was us. My guys were really great about like, these are guys I've grown up playing with. We still jam in my garage, right? So they're like, we need more Amanda lyrics. Like this needs to be our story, your story. We need it to have, because we've been through some things. So we got
Sure,
it all out on
sure.
this album.
I
Yeah.
think that you have, I mean, you work with Scott Stevens on this record, if I'm correct, right? Scott's fantastic. And you had
Yeah.
some really, really great people in your orbit taking a little bit of this and a little bit of this and a little bit of this. And I think that this is the record that you guys have probably always wanted to make.
Yeah. It's going to be whatever the opposite of the sophomore slump is. I can tell you
Yes,
that.
that's
Like,
exactly how I
yeah.
feel. That's exactly, but I never saw you guys as that. I always saw the band. I don't think a band comes out of the box on record one and is the band. That's just
Sure.
not the way, the music business has changed, and that's what people expect, of course, now. But it just is not what real artistry is. I think
Yeah.
you start and you move and you groove and you grow, and that's, you know, slow and steady wins the race. That's the long haul. That's the career. And I kind of see that with this record for
I
you
think so,
guys.
definitely. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And I love that you've seen it, right? And you know what it's like in this industry, but you've also heard the album. And so like I love that you're picking up on these themes and that, because it was important for us that it would be obvious to people that were like, oh, this is a different side of Eva Under Fire. Much more real because we are gritty. We're from Detroit. These things are truly our story. And I think along the path of self-discovery, you have moments where it's hard and you get mad and then you express yourself and it feels a little bit better, but then you're kind of forlorn about things that you used to do and used to be and you're not that anymore. And so there's a different tone that comes through with that and a little bit of a sadness to it. And then you get into a different space where you're feeling like I'm really owning this now. I understand all that was, all that is coming, and I know who I am. And so there's songs about that are empowering. And I think there's a lot more maturity in that way on this album, a lot more emotional intelligence, and it's asking the listener to go on a self-discovery journey also. And I think that's really important to us. Mental health has always been, something that's really important for us that we've talked about. Um, but I don't really think I ever cracked open like my personal like journal as much as I did
Well, you're
on this.
so interesting because you're a licensed therapist. So you've been in everybody else's head and cracking into their personal journals. So is it difficult for you to open up as much as people open up to you. There has to be a little bit of self-protection around that too, as open as you want to be as an artist. But you come from a completely different place of probably any artist that I've ever spoken to in my 30-year career, because you're listening to everything that they're giving you. And then you're an artist. Like it's very, very different experience.
It's a cool thing to lean into, but it took me a minute to figure it out for sure, right? So, like, I think that's one of the things on album one that was different than what it will be now. So you're right. I did shield myself, maybe a little too much on album one. I think there were moments, right? Songs like Heroin, songs like Comatose, songs like The Strong that were really important to me. But then there was also kind of like take your brain out, have fun type of stuff. You know, Blow is a banger, but it's like a take your brain out attitude type of
Blow's a
song.
Friday song. That's a Friday song. Like every Friday, I would pull that one out and just get on the air and play it. It's a Friday song.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Friday.
What a cool way to thank you for that. I love that. I'm gonna keep that around. That's a Friday song. Um, but you know, I think on this album, I did really let my hair down on Villainous as an album. I wanted to be more honest, and I think that the self-discovery journey wasn't just in lyricism. It was something that I was actively living through and exploring through writing these lyrics and writing these songs and trying to talk about, you know, what it was that I was feeling and why I was in that space. And I think that sometimes I would, you know, Eva was a kind of a shield, right? It was a bit of a crown because I would hang out at the merch booth and people would just
And
ask
then
if I was
Eva Marie
Eva,
was born at the merch booth. I remember our
right?
first interview, and you
Right, which
kind
was
of told me,
cool.
yeah, she's a little bit of my alter ego, and here's how I connect with people after the show, which was so
Yeah,
interesting to me.
yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think here is
But everybody knows Amanda. You
Amanda.
know,
Yeah.
Amanda is that's. I mean, Eva was a song reference, right? But like who I am, my name's Amanda. You know, and so the other, you know, I don't know if you listened to the full gamut yet, but there's a song called My Own Name
Yeah.
that I wrote that was very much about offloading any kind of shield. I don't feel like I need it anymore. I feel like that shield eventually became kind of a disruption from connecting with listeners. Like I wasn't able to fully lean into what I was feeling and being honest. And I didn't, I never started this in with the intention of building a character. Um, because I still feel like that Eva version on album one was a version of myself, just wasn't the whole thing. So I think on album two, we've been through so much as a band, so much in the world has happened since the first time that we were writing. You know, album one was a long time ago now.
Long
So
time.
I feel like there was a lot more that and I was tired of the shield. I tell people all the time, like when I'm working with other people who are sharing their stuff with me, right, in sessions and stuff, they're like, "Yeah, the mask is tiring. It's exhausting to hide, right? I'm done. I'm done. Like there's nothing else for me to be ashamed about. Even the things that people will throw at you, right? Call you a villain, call you a bitch, call you a whatever it is, right? You're like, sure,
Whatever. Yeah,
yeah, right.
that's what I
Like, what
think
else
too.
you
I'm
got?
like,
You
whatever.
know, like,
Have
no,
at it.
I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I understand why I'm in the space that I'm in. I know how I got here. I've done enough self inventory and digging around, right? And that whole process was this album. This is my therapy. And if it's gonna be my therapy, then I have to be 1,000% honest. And I think that this, um, there's no there's no other way to do it for me. So album two is my own journey of self discovery, and I hope a lot of people will also see it as a soundtrack for their own.
Yeah. My Own Name, by the way, is the second track on the album. I love the sequencing on it too. It definitely takes you on a journey. So, how cool is this? Record comes out on July 10th. Then you're going out with Five Finger Death Punch. Like, so
Massive.
you get the call, and that's what I love too. The ducks are all like kind of lining up. I said to you, I'm so happy that, again, nothing wrong with this, that you guys aren't just jumping in your van and going out and doing some one off shows and stuff as the record is coming out, as the baby, I say, is being born.
Yeah.
because I speak to artists all the time, like your baby's being born, and some artists get really, really excited leading up to it. And then when the baby's born, they almost feel kind of sad in a way because there's just such a lead, especially for a record like this that you're so proud of. So as the baby is being born and people are discovering the tracks, you're out on a major tour with Five Finger Death Punch. And it's a long tour. It starts in
Yeah.
July. I think you guys go like through October or something.
Yeah, it's almost November. Yeah, we got 2 legs
Wow.
of that tour. So
Wow, but perfection. I mean, this is perfect. So who calls you? When do you find out like this is the next step in the plan of building this record?
so you're right. I mean, the whole like van situation, right? We have a 12 passenger van. That's what we were used to, right? And we've been writing for so long and writing for so long. And I love writing, but it, when it's not paired with actually being at the live show, it doesn't feel real, you know? Doing the stuff from my bedroom doesn't feel real. It's not like, we're a band that loves playing live. So we have to have that component. But it does get exhausting. It's very expensive to be out there. There's a lot of other, hang-ups about it. It's a grind, right? Um, so we were feeling a little discouraged because it had been such a long process to get to this place. And I was celebrating a friend's birthday, our sound guy's birthday in Vegas. And we were out there and we didn't have what was coming next. We didn't know what was coming next. And we were like, trying to stay encouraged, trying to stay focused, but it's a grind. So we were like, okay, this is a good moment. But we were kind of bummed that we were going home that day, not knowing what was next. And I was standing in line because my key card for my room wasn't working. And I got the phone call that we landed the Five Finger Tour. I started bawling.
And it's not
In
like 4 dates either. It's the tour. It's the
This is the make it or
three
break it
quarters of the
move.
whole tour.
This is the level that we have been
Yeah.
waiting and hoping and praying for and grinding for years, for years to get on amphitheater stages with one of the biggest bands in hard rock and heavy metal. Are you kidding me? I get to play my hometown amphitheater that I did my first I attended my first concert ever there, Pine Knob.
What a
And then we're
feeling.
going crazy. I was in tears. I was sobbing so hard. Like I was trying to hide it, but the woman that was two people ahead of me in line was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm good. It's a really good thing."
Good tears, good ugly cry, good ugly cry.
Moment, yeah.
I
It
love
was.
that for you.
It
I'm
was.
so excited. We have a Jersey date that I'll be heading to at the PNC Bank Art Center. So I'm so excited. I've got to come back and give you a big congratulations hug. And like
Please,
it's just
yes,
I think it's
let's.
just gonna be amazing. Look, you made a next level album. So I think when you make a next level album, you hope to God that everything aligns you and it's next level experience for the band after that.
You're
And
so right.
I'm
You're so
really,
right.
I'm really, really
Thank
happy
you.
that you're getting that. I mean, and you're always so busy, whether you're doing stuff like movie stuff like Retaliators, which by the way, I'm a horror person, so I loved it. I thought you were fantastic. Or you're doing
Right?
My
Yes.
Rock
Thank
Star
you.
based on the story of Eva. You've always got something. There's always a level of creativity that
Thank you.
I've always so admired about you because you're just always going, 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 going. Again, it's that Detroit under your
Yeah.
skin, Michigan flavor. It's
It's
in your
part of
blood.
you.
It's part
You
of you.
just
It's in your
have to do
DNA.
the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to do the thing. I think, there's a reason why so many rockers love coming to the Midwest. It's like it's like these are the people that live it, And so thank you for noticing that I live it. I have been living it since I was, I don't know, 15, 16, you know. Um, and with these guys, we were all in different projects in high school. That's how we all ended up meeting each other. And now we're
I
here
love that. I love
doing
that.
amphitheaters. Like this is crazy. This
And
is
your
crazy.
hubs, you and your hubs are making music together.
Yeah.
That's
Like we just
amazing too.
hang out in our living room with our cats or go on tour together. Like those are our options. This is
Yeah.
crazy. I
I
love
love
it
your
so much.
cats on social, by the way. I love when they cat bomb you because my dog, you could probably hear in the background, she was just like literally dog bombing me, where I'm just like, Rosie, cut it out. But I love seeing your cats, cat bombing you. It's always fun.
Yes, they do. And they do. Oh my gosh. The one, he will rip this door off. Like he hates, and he can't access the humans. So it's a really, really cool dynamic. And I'm so grateful that we hung in there. Because when you hang in there and they can't get rid of you, when you wait them out with a plan, eventually it's going to work. And I think this year it's going to work.
It's your year, babe. I said it. Your time is here, 2026. Eva Under Fire. Let's do it. July 10th, we get Villainous. Five Finger Tour kicks off just around that time, and you're going through October, coming soon to an amphitheater near everyone. And Amanda, it's just so nice to have you on speaking your truth. This record is your truth too, which I think is even more exciting.
It is. It is. You mentioned about like, your baby's being born. How do you feel? And it's, like a part of this is also the releasing the waterfall of the songs. And then we have plans to continue to like, so it's no longer just baby out with the bathwater. Like, we're here to stay. You won't get rid of me now. We have so many more plans for this album. So
I
I'm so
think that
excited.
that's the best news of the day for me. That's the
Thank
best news
you.
of the day
Thank
for me.
you.
I
Yes.
love you. Thank you so much for spending time with me to set up this amazing, amazing new record. Villainous, July 10th, Eva Under Fire is back.
There you
And
go.
what a year it's going to be. Mwah, I love you. Thank you so much. And happy
Thank you, my
Women's
friend.
History Month. Thanks for being
Happy Women's
rock and
History
roll
Month.
history too.
Thank you for you front runner. I love it so much. Thank you. Much love, Terrie. Appreciate you.
You don't need to be in your car to listen to Carr Stereo. Listen wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Rob Moorhead. TC and I will see you next time.